All right, let's get right into a pretty incredible financial story that's unfolding right now. We're talking about Nigeria and how it's tackling its long-standing reliance on cash and turning it into a digital gold mine. It's a fascinating transformation. So, let's kick things off with a number that just makes you sit up and pay attention. 88.73 billion naira. Now, that's not the total revenue. That's how much Nigeria's government went over its revenue target in just the first 6 months of 2025. Yeah, this is no small thing. It's a huge surplus, and it's a massive clue that something fundamental is changing in the country's economy. Which, of course, brings us to the big question we're tackling today. How? How is this digital leap actually happening? And more importantly, how is it not just filling up government accounts, but totally reshaping the entire Nigerian economy? Let's dig in. Well, the short answer is a digital revenue boom. But this isn't a story about discovering new oil or anything like that. Nope. This is about completely changing the way money flows, all thanks to a huge nationwide shift over to electronic payments. And when I say huge, I mean wow. Just get a load of this. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, Nigerians made transactions worth 284.9 trillion naira electronically. That's a 22% jump in just 1 year. This isn't some slow, gradual change. It's a full-on economic shockwave, and it's all part of a very deliberate plan to move towards a cashless society. But, to really get why this digital revolution is having such a massive impact, you first have to understand the problem it was built to solve. For decades, Nigeria's economy was, well, it was drowning in cash. See, when physical cash is king, it's just so easy for money to disappear. We're talking about massive revenue leaks, where tax money just never makes it to the government. It means corruption can thrive with untraceable payments. It even fueled serious security problems, like kidnappings for cash ransoms. Physical cash wasn't just an inconvenience, it was actively holding the country back. So the government decided to go all in on a complete electronic overhaul. And this wasn't just some campaign to get people to use banking apps. Oh no. This was a deep strategic mission to build a brand new financial backbone for the country from the ground up. And this didn't just happen overnight. You can see it was a long game. The groundwork was being laid way back in '97. But the real game changer was in 2011 with the NIP system, which made instant bank transfers the new normal for everybody. And with more recent moves, like modernizing the oil industry and launching the FTR platform in 2025, you can see just how focused they've been on this vision. Now, at the core of all this are two main networks, NIPSES and UPSL. NIPSES runs that instant payment system most people use every day. But here's the really brilliant part. The government made a rule every single payment terminal in the country has to be connected to both networks. So if one system has a glitch, the machine just automatically switches to the other one. That one simple move slashed the number of failed transactions and built a ton of public trust. And then you have this thing, the Federal Treasury Receipt, or FTR. The easiest way to think about it is like a mandatory digital fingerprint for every single penny paid to the federal government. It creates this unbreakable, verifiable digital trail. And just like that, it becomes incredibly difficult for money to just leak out of the system anymore. Okay, so that's the strategy, that's the tech. But what about the results? What did all of this actually achieve? Well, this is where the story gets really, really good. Let's just take the value-added tax, or VAT. Because every digital payment leaves a trail, collecting taxes becomes way more efficient. And look at this. VAT collections didn't just hit the target, they blew right past it by more than 439 billion naira. That is a direct result of this digital push, and it's a huge win for the national budget. And the ripple effect goes way beyond just government money. The whole tech sector itself is now an absolute beast in the economy, kicking in over 9 trillion naira in just 1 quarter. It's not just a tool anymore, it's become a massive engine for economic growth. And they're not taking their foot off the gas. The government is doubling down. The next big project is to build 4,000 new telecom towers. And the goal? To get another 23 million people in rural areas online and plugged into this new digital economy. This is about making sure the revolution reaches every single corner of the country. Of course, a transformation this big is never totally finished. There are still hurdles to clear. So what's next on the agenda to lock in these gains and keep the momentum going? Well, the path forward seems pretty clear, and it really comes down to 4 key things. First, keep expanding that digital infrastructure. Second, you've got to get serious about cybersecurity to protect it all. Third, invest in digital literacy so everyone knows how to use these tools safely. And finally, keep strengthening the rules of the road to make sure the system is stable and fair for all. And that leaves us with one final, really interesting thought. By building this amazing digital payment system, born out of a real need to fix deep problems like corruption, Nigeria has unlocked some serious economic growth. So the question is, could this playbook, this Nigerian model, actually be a blueprint for other developing nations? And maybe, just maybe, for the rest of the world too?